Now the hip detail, I don't have to worry about that, that base, galvanized base trim. And what I've done here is, again, I've just made a simple lock. Just cut it. I actually put it on there first and made my 2 little marks. Cut it on that angle, folded that over. Now when I slide that on, if I look up from the ground, I've actually hidden anything that's cut under there. I could put a little stitch screw in there if I really wanted to, you know, just to give it a little extra holding power down there, but it really shouldn't go anywhere when you build a lock. So then I put that on there. And again, I can adjust these ridge hip caps to fit the pitch. So we're going to put a sidewall flashing on. This is the exact same flashing that we're going to use. And what I'm going to do too in the field, I'm going to put a bead of that caulking tape right down that as well, because what I'm doing is I'm fastening it right through the valley portion of it. So I've got some metal building tape under that just for extra precaution. So I've got that there. The sidewall flashings, it's a very simple trim, very neat trim. This is what, you know, you're going to use this same detail around dormers. Well, I'm going to say skylights too, but for skylights, they're kind of a tricky thing to flash, and the skylight people offer good kits that are designed for steel roofing. So if you can get a kit right from them, you're probably better off, but if not, you're going to use the same type of flashing.
And as you'll see, it's all embossed again, like I mentioned earlier, an embossed trim, so it gives a beautiful finish up along the sidewall, and that's what you're really looking at.
So we're going to keep that up just a little bit there. And generally you won't see a fastener on this, because in this case here, your siding is going to come down over top of that, right? So this is a real versatile trim. It doesn't look like much, but it's technically a starter hook. And I can use this in a number of different applications. We use it for any of our sidewall end wall trims, because I'm going to take that measurement, 6 inches. I'm going to install this 6 inches down. As you can see, it's got a lock on there. I'm going to be able to lock that in there, fasten it there. Again, we see no fasteners, and this is what we want. We want to have those clean lines. But another thing I can do with this is that on some old homes, you've got an eave trough on there. You've got it's just some people do not want to fool around with the edge of the roof. I can use that as a starter trim. I can put that right along the edge of the roof, and I can start there, and away I go. Another thing I can do with this is if I'm going up a roof, and there's a dormer right in the middle of this roof, and so I'm going up this side and I'm going up this side, and I've got to make sure that when I get to the top of that, both sides of those dormers, that I'm in line to come across with my panels again. And if I'm off a little bit, there's not really a lot of forgiveness, because you can see if I'm not straight, you're going to see a crack in there, like you're going to see a gap in there. So this here, again, I can correct it. I could cut the lock off. Like if I came up to that point and I didn't like it, I could cut the lock off. I could use this. I could drop it. I could drop it 3/4 of an inch or even an inch, and you're not going to notice it when you're standing back that there's a little bit of a difference. And I can correct it using this trim. Pitch change, I would use the same thing. If this was a porch, I would install this, and then I'm carrying on up the regular roof, hook that in, and away I go, going up the roof. So it's really nice. And again, if I was doing that, I would use some of that metal building tape along the base of that. Anywhere I can, it never hurts to use those caulkings and that. We got a lot of options for snow guards.
These ones here are kind of an octagon looking snow stop. So you would have these placed, bead of silicone around, put them up onto them, and stagger them along the way. Very nice, clean look. You don't have to worry about big bars coming across, because you do have that option, but on a flat surface like this, there's no way of that water escaping. So you want to break it up, have something like this that's going to go in the middle of the panel and hold that, stagger it away.
We have another animal that's the same idea. It's called a polar block. I'm going to caulk the base of that. It's pre-drilled for 6 screws, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stagger these. And I'm not going to overdo it with these, or I don't like seeing people overdo it. For one thing, I don't think it looks that good, but I'd just put this over like critical areas like doorways, garage doors. Some people want to protect hedges and that. And Steve was mentioning like the straight. This is a 26 gauge snow brake. I'm going to install it this way. I'm going to install it with the square up. But again, I'm not going to put that right across the roof. Now we do on our regular steel because the other steel is held up 3/4 of an inch, allows water to get down through it. In this case here, if I was using this one, I would cut it into maybe 12, 18-inch pieces, and I would do the same thing. I would just stagger them.